Few changes in my home office. Today's Tuesday. Right now it's very early. Of course, this you guys saw the coffee maker. I tested it yesterday when my friend came down for a visit. Friend slash boss slash trainer. And he brought me that phone. More about it in a second. And the coffee is pretty good. And so I have Sumatra, I have Folgers, and I think this one was good. No, actually this one was good. So one thing about living in Calgary is that you have to, and when you're a broker, you have to get up real early. So there's 3 sizes, 8, 10, and 12 ounces. By trial and error we discovered, so this is 10. Like I thought this was bigger, this cup, but 8 was this here and 10 was right at the top. And 12 is, will be too much. So yeah, the friend came yesterday. We did some training and he got me these, like, you know, really adds atmosphere. Like this thing, you know, when you watch TV, you know, really nice. It came disassembled, so he quickly assembled everything. And then he got me this one. So this is again good for, you know, nighttime when you're relaxing in front of the TV. But I was constantly having issues with my remote, you know, like when it's dark and you cannot see anything, like on this thing, you know, let's say I want to push pause and okay, I can find the pause by touch, right? Like it's second button on the left, one up, one left. But to restart the movie, you have to push this button. And I always would mess up and push something else and then lose the channel and have to, you know, get my phone, look at the remote. So finally I have this. All right, coffee's ready. We're good to go. Now a few changes over here. Very good changes. So now everything is really professional. So first off, I have an issue with that bottom plug-in. It was not working. And then my friend says, have you tried this? Because this is the light, right? But I could never figure out what was this doing. Because when I would flip it, nothing was happening. And then he says, that might be your bottom socket. I'm like, what? And so I plugged in one of my illuminated, like these ones. So, you know, if there's power, they illuminate, right? Like, look. You see? And so before, the bottom one over there was dead. And so I put this in and I flip that switch and there's power. I'm an idiot. But you know, like, can you blame me? I spent 17 years in the truck, right? So now I just don't touch this, it's always on. Right? Well, we're gonna leave this on. And then I found out that this light actually, like, you know, you can touch here, right? But then if you move your, see what happens? It changes from daylight to, you see, like warmer, cooler. It gives you like different lighting conditions, you know. But the biggest change, and that took a while to hook up, was this. So he got me this phone and he got me this headset. So the phone is Polycam. It's an internet phone. It just works through Ethernet. So we got another cable hooked up to my modem. right? So now I don't turn off the modem. Before I used to turn it off, you know, for the night. And so I got this, and then the best part is that now this headset has a bunch of buttons over here. So I can use the Thales business app, and I can just dial through my phone, I mean through the computer, and I can quickly change. Let's say now it says phone, right? So now if I push this button, see, I can pick up this headset. Like, let's say I dial, like it, because it's much easier, it's much faster to dial, right? I can do this, dial, and then I can push this button over here, grab the headset, push this button, and I can talk to people. And it's all via internet, so it's much more reliable than my regular cell phone. And then here I can change to the computer, so I can dial directly from the computer. And now one thing I found that, you know, sometimes, remember I said I had issues hooking this up, but I find that the best way is just to do not turn off the computer. You know, at the end of the day, just let it sleep. You know, just click, you know, like on a Mac, you just go in the menu, click sleep, and then when they sleep, everything goes down. But then once you touch the mouse in the morning, and everything wakes up. And some people were saying, you know, why do I have my keyboard plugged in? So I was not sure if it was a Bluetooth or not. And then, yeah, I looked here and I see this little switch. You see the green switch? So now I was able to disconnect the keyboard, which gave me one extra port in the back of the iMac. So this is now fully charged. And the mouse is all good to go. But basically, yeah, this is the biggest addition to my office. So, and also the way it's programmed, using the Thales Business Connect app, you can program what happens when people call this number. Let's say I programmed you know, business hours, and if there's no answer during business hours, this thing will switch to my cell phone. And if there's no answer there, then it'll go, then it will go into voicemail. But also this thing has its own voicemail. So it's pretty cool. And one thing about the cell phone, so my friend yesterday, I asked him, I said, you know, here's how you get to my apartment, just call me when you're here. So he calls me, in 10 seconds he says, I'm outside your door. 10 seconds into the call, my line just drops dead, you know. And he comes in and we start talking about this. I said, I just lost you, I'm sorry. And he has a Thales phone, and I have Bell, right? And Bell here in Alberta, they don't have enough of their own towers, so they just use Thales towers, right? And my friend is a big fan of Thales, which I don't like because of the stupid, you know, advertising with animals. But he says Thales here works better. So he comes in and he goes to the back of the room and he calls me. He says, for testing purposes, and it works. Like, so he was calling somebody, like one of his customers called him, and I said, what are you using? Are you using your internet? Because he has the same deal. Uses his own, you know, internet, and he has a headset. And he says, no, I just use my cell phone. So his cell phone works, mine doesn't. And then we started, you know, I said, it cannot be that bad, right? If Bell uses the same towers, why is my phone so much worse? And then we look at the screen, and mine in the top says 5G. And I'm thinking, wait a second. I don't need 5G because I'm in the new area of Calgary, right? Like relatively new area. Probably that's what might be causing issues. And I asked my friend, I said, is your phone 5G? He says, no. And I'm thinking, well, that might be the issue, right? And so I go into my settings, and there's on the Samsung S21 Ultra 5G. And on the connections and mobile networks, there's a network mode, and it says automatic. but it's all grayed out. Like on some other models, they were saying on the internet, you can go into this network mode and you can change to, let's say, LTE, 4G, stuff like that. But I cannot do that. It's grayed out. I see, like this here. I cannot click on it. So I call Bell, and Bell says, no, that's not our issue. It's your phone. Because your phone is a 5G model, it will always try to use 5G only. I said, well, there's no 5G signal here. I need 4G. And Bell guy says, you have to call Samsung. I said, are you kidding me? You want me to call the manufacturer of my phone? They said, yeah, because it's not our kind of like department, I said, how do I call him? Like, you want me to call South Korea or something? He says, no. There's an 866 number here in Canada. So I try calling from my phone. Oh, and what's funny is that when I try calling 611 for Bell, after like 10 seconds, the phone drops the connection. So I had to use my internet phone, which is funny. And then I call Samsung. I cannot hook up them. I cannot connect with anybody. So I go to Samsung.ca, and there's a chat in there. And I start chatting with the support agent, and this way it's much faster. And they said, no, we can. I said, how do I unlock this network mode? I have to drop 5G. She says, no, it's the provider. It's not us. She says, that network mode depends on the provider. Some providers will allow you to change it, some providers will not. So they said, call your provider. I said, Bell? They said, yeah. Okay, so I go back to Bell, start a chat again online with the support agent, because again, it's much faster than sitting on the phone for 15 minutes. Because they said, estimate, when I tried calling them again, and it says estimated waiting time 16 minutes. Screw this, I go to bell.ca, log in to my account, chat, support, technical support. Now this guy, you know how you often get with all these companies, maybe the first guy was from China, the support agent, now I'm talking to the guy from Malaysia maybe, or Ireland, I don't know, but this guy knows these things much, and he was in a much better position to help me. So he says, oh yeah, I can turn off 5G mode on your phone. What? Really? Because I started saying, hey, you guys send me to Samsung. Samsung says, no, it's not them, it's you. And the guy says, so do you want me to turn off your 5G mode? I said, yes, sir. That's what I've been trying to do all morning. He says, yeah, you cannot do it on your phone. Let me see what model, what phone you have. I said, yeah, Ultra 5G Samsung S21. He says, so hold on, give me a couple of seconds. And then, whereas before it was saying 5G, now it started saying 4G, And I still use Wi-Fi calling when I'm inside to help with the signal. But now I'm just using this phone. Now it's my main, this internet phone is my main phone. And I moved that number to the top of the list in my signature when I email people. So now I can use this and I can use this. See, like the headset, very nice, very professional, and which of course gives me free hands. Oh, and also there's another button there. We didn't program it yet, but I can use this with my cell phone. If I don't want to, if somebody calls me on the cell phone and it works, I don't have to do this. So I can just, type and work on my two screens. So no customers yet, but I do get emails through my contact form. A guy just actually emailed me this morning. Where is that? There was an email here, but he didn't even leave me the name. He says, "Hey, Captain, you met me one day at a truck stop in Pennsylvania. I'll be glad to work with you." And I checked his contact info. He's already subscribed, but I don't have any name, like first name, last name, because that would be cool. And so I sent him an email, said, "Could you please give me your name, because I don't remember." So anyway, and my boss wanted me to help him with the load, but I said, "Hey, we agreed that I'm only dealing with equipment and machinery." And he says, "Well, for practice," and he has somebody's moving a mobile home. You know those crazy loads, you know, like super wide and have these size wheels, like 50 wheels on each side. So you need a power only, and it's you know, with a hitch. How many semi trucks? You know, and it's like 25,000 pounds, but it's oversized, and it's coming from US. Going to BC, and there's a ferry involved, you know, and then you have to, he says the carrier probably will charge both ways, like return, because they have to go into Washington State, pick this up, take it across the border, go on a ferry. And I said, I'm not sure I want to do this. I said, let me just continue my learning curve over here, and I have still a couple of leads from my previous, you know, trucking life, and that's why I'm so early. And I started to say that one of the disadvantages of Alberta, right? Because now it's what's the time now? 6:08 Mountain Time here, but it's already 8:08 in Ontario, and that's why I got so early, because I need to call a couple of people in Ontario. And now it's still early, but I know they show up in the office at 9, which is 7 my time, right? So I had to get up at 6 so I can make my coffee, you know, brush my teeth, stuff like that, get ready, check my emails. And that's what most brokers here do, you know, you have to get up real early. But then the good part is you can shut down early as well, right? Because basically you can do 6 to 4. Well, I mean, maybe 7. Like business hours are 7 to, let's say, 4, you know, with a break for lunch. Because 4 here, it's already 6 in the east, in the northeast US and eastern Ontario, eastern Canada. So those are the big changes. And I've been emailing dealers. So far I've been emailing dealers in where? In Tennessee, equipment dealers. Tennessee, Texas, Michigan, Ontario, Alberta. Probably sent out 200 emails. Got 1 reply. The guy wrote, "Thanks for reaching out." It was an auction place. The guy says, "But we also a trucking company, and we have brokers we work with on a regular basis, but basically, thank you." At least one guy, I could see that my emails are going somewhere. Because at first I'm like, what's going on? 50 emails, nothing. 100 emails, nothing. 150, 200. So when you guys blame brokers for being greedy, so don't be too harsh, because it's not that easy as it might look, you know. Like I've been doing it, a week? I got 1 quote, right? So now I'm kind of like, what was that movie, you know, where the guy was in Paris, babysitting. Ryan Reynolds plays in that movie with Denzel Washington, where he's just in charge of this undercover apartment in Paris, right, for CIA. And he's like sitting there and he's playing ball and he's walking around, nobody's calling him, right? So he calls the office and he says, any visitors today? No, sir. And he's been there like for 5 years, no visitors. He's just, every day he shows up for work, right? And then all of a sudden his phone rings and he's somewhere playing with his ball inside this huge apartment, and his phone rings, and he's like, what? Because the phone didn't ring 5 years. And so that that's kind of like my mindset right now, like that Ryan Reynolds with Denzel Washington, that apartment, you know, is it gonna ring? You know, it doesn't ring. Why? So I'm checking my connections, everything is cool. And so yeah, this is a very fancy headset. This is like $350 US. So it's called Lightner. You see, and it's all hooked up. Lots of wires here, and and I can do conference calls. You know, I can put people on hold, and they can hear music. It's like really nice. Like you call me and say, "Hey, excuse me, can I put you on hold? I have somebody in another line," and I can choose music. I go into Telus Business app, and there was like 10 or 15 styles of music I could choose. I think I chose like jazz or something, and then I can, while that guy is on hold, I can call another number, and I can say, "Hey, is it okay if we do a conference call?" I can join calls. You know, let's say someone, "Hey, can your driver do this?" Okay, hold on. I dial the shipper. Okay, hey, I have a driver on the other line. You want to talk to him? You know, boom, join, and then we talk. And again, I can either talk through the like a regular phone through this, or I can talk through my headset. You know. And then, yeah, later I'm gonna set this up so I can use it with my cell phone when I'm in the apartment here, when I'm in the office. So those are the changes. So basically all I need is customers now. All I need is customers. Oh yeah, and the Hellcat is coming, and I ordered like a package of steel wool. So I'm gonna plug both exhaust pipes in the back, and I'm gonna open the air box, remove the filter, and put one of those steel wool things inside the, you know, where the air is coming through the fender, so that those ugly nasty animals cannot climb up. And then I'm gonna buy something that you know, they have those like a repellent, you know, like a pieces of cloth with some smell or something. Just put them inside the car. And then I have these little timbers that I'm gonna put. The tires will be sitting on these little blocks, but I'm not gonna raise it. I don't have a winch, but I'm just gonna make sure that there's enough pressure in the tires. It's high pressure, slightly higher than required, and just roll the car on these blocks, and then disconnect the negative terminal of the battery, and that should do it. So basically I need now it's already November. Let's say the car arrives in a week or something. So it's December, January, February, March, and probably the first or second week of April I can already take it out, because it should be warm already. So those are the plans. Okay, rain. That's all I got for today. Thank you, guys.